Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Lepakshi Khurana. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Wednesday, the 20th of April. Shaken residents demand stringent security post-Kabul attack. UNESCO restoring monuments in Nepal damaged in last year's earthquake. And Maldives revokes privileges of ex-president Nasheed. And now for all the details. A day after Taliban suicide bombing rocked Afghan capital Kabul on Tuesday, residents have demanded for better security arrangements. At least 64 people have been killed and over 300 wounded in the deadly attack.
Worried residents of Kabul are trying to get back to normalcy a day after a car suicide bomber killed dozens and wounded more than 300 on Tuesday. The suicide bombing, which was followed by a fierce gun battle, had happened during the rush hour in the morning.
تمام شیشه ها و مالای دکان یکی برهم خورده و تخریب شده است. انتحار بسیار قوی بوده، انفجاری که بوده بسیار قوی، بسیار از غریبکارا اینجا مصروف کار بودن، دریورا بودن که همه به خاک خون یکسان شده و کلگی شهید و مجروح گشته.
Locals are now demanding the government to beef up security for them in face of threats of more attacks by Taliban.
خاص ما دولتی است که باید امنیت سرتاسری شود، امنیت باید در این مملکت بیاید. اگه به امنیتی باشه ما نمیتونیم درس بخوانیم، ما نمیتونیم پیش بریم، حتی نمیتونیم به تحصیلات خودمون بریم.
Tuesday's attack marked the first major assault by Taliban after it launched its annual spring-summer last week. The Islamist hardline group has vowed large-scale attacks on enemy positions, martyrdom-seeking and tactical attacks against enemy strongholds and assassination of enemy commanders in urban centers. In a similar summer offensive last year, the Taliban had inflicted heavy casualties, killing nearly 6,000 personnel and more than 11,000 civilians.
A 50-wagon water train carrying 2.5 million litres of water reached parched Latur region in India's western province of Maharashtra on Wednesday. The train had previously made 9 trips, each time carrying 0.5 million litres of water to the parched city. The train that received a grand welcome on its arrival is a big relief for Latur citizens who have been struggling to get drinking water. The region is facing the worst water crisis in its history due to deficient rainfall for the third consecutive year. People have been forced to walk miles to fetch water for their everyday use. Moving on, lack of proper infrastructure facilities in government-run educational institutions are dissuading students in Pakistan-administered Kashmir. To pursue their dreams, many youths are shelling large sums of money to join private institutions. A report.
The condition of government-run institutions in Pakistan-administered Kashmir is pitiable and have become a cause of concern for the people of the region. Students in the region today face an uncertain future as the quality of education is degrading due to lack of basic infrastructure and facilities. Locals claim there is a lack of seriousness among the faculties of various government schools and colleges, and despite several complaints, authorities turn a blind eye towards the grievous issues. The apathy and lackadaisical attitude of the faculty has forced many students to transfer to private education institutes.
प्राइवेट में मेरे ख्याल से बच्चों को ज़्यादा फैसिलिटीज़ प्रोवाइड की जाती हैं एज़ कम्पेयर टू जो होते हैं सरकारी गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर्स, क्योंकि जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर में बच्चों को बहुत ज़्यादा इन्वायरमेंट मिल जाता है और हर तरह से को करिकुलर एक्टिविटीज़ भी उन्हें प्रोवाइड की जाती हैं। वो उन्हें हर तरह से ये वो हर काम में हिस्सा ले सकते हैं, जबकि जो सरकारी में होता है उसमें अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह से टीचर बहुत अच्छे होते हैं, सब कुछ अच्छा होता है, लेकिन वहाँ पे ये कि बच्चों पे इतना फोकस नहीं किया जाता जितना कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर में किया जाता है।
For years, Pakistan-administered Kashmir has been reeling under poverty, and for many, education is the only way out from such miseries. But expensive fees of private institutions add to the woes of the people.
लेकिन हमें बिल्कुल भी कोई माहौल नहीं मिला वहाँ के ऊपर, कोई नज़्म-ज़ात नहीं है, जिस टाइम आओ जाओ कोई पूछता भी नहीं है, बिल्कुल टीचर्स आते हैं अपनी मर्ज़ी से जाते हैं, कोई पीरियड लिया यहाँ से लिया चले गए, ये होता है। उसके बाद हमें डिसीजन किया कि हम वहाँ से माइग्रेट करवाते हैं, इस कॉलेज में आते हैं, स्कॉलर कॉलेज में। प्राइवेट कॉलेज है, वहाँ पे अच्छी पढ़ाई होती है, सुबह जाते हैं हम टाइम के ऊपर, नज़्म ज़ब्त से हमारी क्लासें होती हैं, डिसिप्लिन से बाकायदा। तो फीसेस का तो हमारा बहुत इशू है वहाँ के ऊपर।
Locals feel Pakistan, which had once made tall promises, has abandoned the region. For those who cannot afford to shell out huge sums of money, education remains a distant dream.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, or the UNESCO, has launched a new project for rehabilitation of the Kathmandu Valley World Heritage Site. Nepal, which is known for its rich cultural heritage, was struck by a wave of devastating earthquakes last year, killing nearly 9,000 people and causing a great deal of destruction.
UNESCO Director General Irina Bokova announced the launch of a new project for the reconstruction and restoration of heritage sites in the Kathmandu Valley, which were damaged in the earthquake last year. The announcement came as Bokova concluded her 2-day visit to Nepal to oversee the ongoing rehabilitation projects in the country. The 3-year project is the result of a partnership agreement with China's Hainan Province Siang Foundation that places priority on the recovery and rehabilitation of the monument zones of Hanuman Dhoka in Kathmandu, Darbar Square and Swayambhu, a Buddhist stupa complex.
It's a huge work. We need a lot more in terms of not just restoration, but also in terms of inventories, in terms of management. I think this is where we need to build more capacity. So investing in culture is investment in sustainability and investment, in fact, of economic growth and social prosperity.
The earthquakes, which occurred on April and May 2015, affected about 2,900 heritage structures with cultural and religious value across the Himalayan nation. Many of these monuments were completely destroyed. UNESCO since then has been working in the process of restoration for such monuments.
After each earthquake here in Nepal, what collapses mostly the brick walls, but then all these old elements, they were reused for centuries and centuries, and we have many of them. And then also we know exactly how these monuments were looking, because we have very precise documentation which was made in the last 40 years by many archaeologists and architects.
The cultural heritage of the Kathmandu Valley is illustrated by groups of monuments and buildings which display the full range of historic and artistic achievements for which the valley is renowned for. Tourism is the lifeline of the Nepalese economy, but since the earthquake in 2015 that claimed over 9,000 lives, the country is still on the path to recovery.
Former Maldivian President and opposition leader Mohammad Nasheed has been stripped of ex-president's privileges. The announcement came after President Abdullah Yameen ratified a bill on Tuesday that strips former President Mohammad Nasheed of state benefits, security and other privileges. On April 6, an amendment was brought by ruling Progressive Party, which has a majority in the parliament, to revoke all the benefits to Nasheed. The move comes a day after the government cancelled the extension of Nasheed's medical leave in the UK. Nasheed, who is the first democratically elected president of Maldives, has been serving 13 years of jail term on terror conviction since March last year. The Kashmir Valley in northern India has had a rich musical tradition dating back to centuries. The classical music from the valley has in recent times seen a rise in popularity, especially among the youth.
The music of Kashmir Valley reflects the heritage and cultural legacy of the North Indian province of Jammu and Kashmir. The advent of Sufism brought a new musical tradition, that of Sufyana Kalam, the classical music of Kashmir Valley. Introduced in the 15th century, Sufyana music continues to enthrall its audience till date. A large number of youngsters from the valley have shown keen interest in learning this classical music form and perform professionally.
हम इसी उम्र में सीखना चाहते हैं। जो छोटी उम्र में सीखता है वो बहुत अच्छा सीखता है, उसको बहुत इल्म मिलता है इसमें से, क्योंकि ये हम जिंदा रखना चाहते हैं ये बहुत पुराना सा है, बोलते हैं हम म्यूज़िक आज चल रहा है।
The use of vocals in traditional Kashmiri music varies. In some forms of Kashmiri music, vocals are given the central role, forming the lead of the songs. But in many other varieties, it is the instruments that act as the central focus of the music. With the passage of time, a number of Indian ragas were added to this music form.
हम बहुत कोशिश कर रहे हैं और इन बच्चों को देखकर बहुत अच्छा लगता है। अल्लाह ताला इनको सलामत रखे और ये तौफीक दे कि इस आर्ट को आगे ले जाके कहीं और जनरेशनों तक चले ये।
In recent times, classical music has seen a rise in popularity, especially among the youth who wish to move from mainstream music and look for inspiration in classical forms.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude, the top stories once again. Shaken residents demand stringent security post Kabul attack. UNESCO restoring monuments in Nepal damaged in last year's earthquake. And Maldives revokes privileges of ex-president Nasheed. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.